Okay, Prism.js I think is fine. Yeah, so we want Prism.js. But I think what the problem was is that I'm supposed to have a quote here and a quote here. So I have two quotes like that, space-based. So I saved you. All right, so this is I don't have AWS set up, I think, on my own system, so I can't actually run this. This is going to be fixing command to invalidate cache. All right, now we get to watch this again. You were after good enough from the CI, which developers read as not good enough. I used to have to invalidate a huge API, and sadly it was all written as a SOAP doc, so I couldn't tell you how we did it. Oh, it's a standard operating procedure document, so I couldn't tell you how we did. Oh no. I think we were just lazily invalidating standard operating procedure. Yeah. So often I'm big on what is it called? It's basically choosing like what to optimize as it becomes a problem. So it's like, okay, we have an issue here. Okay, I'll figure out what exactly that is and then do that. No need to like pre-optimize ever. There's no reason. Get a these. Let's create that. Okay, this time everything should work the way we expect it to. I remember I was working with one developer. He told us a story how he had the app was acting slow, but instead of like trying to get data to figure out where the problem was. Oh, that wasn't the right one to watch. That one. Instead of actually trying to find like data to track like what the problem was, he looked through the code and found where he was doing like a big for loop around stuff, and it's like, okay, that's got to be where the problem is. Spent days rewriting the for loop to be as close to an O of 1 as possible, and got it there too. Like made it wicked fast. The problem was after and then he went back later on and went like to a previous Git release, and then eventually with tools like, oh, let me actually take a look, like how much time savings did I actually buy with that, because the slowness persisted after all that. And he's like, oh no, what is the problem? He ended up taking something that was already really fast and making it like 0.2, like maybe like 15 milliseconds faster, 10 milliseconds faster. But there was like several things that were taking like a second or two, like several thousand milliseconds, and he was just completely ignoring them. So in this case, like I wouldn't necessarily call this one premature optimization. It's just like missed location optimization. Like thinking, oh, that's a optimization that I know I need to do optimization somewhere, but instead of using data to figure out exactly where to optimize, you just guess. And that will, you have to be really lucky if you're going to do a guess-based optimization. Theory of constraint says that optimization outside the bottleneck is a fallacy. Yes. Custard, have you ever read The Goal? The book The Goal? I feel like you would like it if you haven't read it. I would recommend it. It's a novel-based thing, but it really gets into theory of constraints and sort of like as a way of teaching somebody in a warehouse like how this works, or not a warehouse, a manufacturing plant. So for everybody else who doesn't like, theory constraints, bottleneck, whatever that means, we can think of it this way. In a bottleneck, if you fix a problem after the bottleneck, you have done nothing, right? Because the bottleneck is where things are slowing down. So if you speed up something after that, well, it's already slowed. You're not going to see any improvements in speed in the end result. But if you fix something before the bottleneck, you make it worse, because now you're just making more things come up and hit into the bottleneck. And so the queue of inventory is the technical term of all the stuff going into the thing that's bottlenecking gets like more backlogged. And if any of you have played a game like Factorio, you'll know this. Like you'll know this. If you have too many stuff cluttering up the inputs, things get slower. They just get slower, and it's really, really bad. So you want to make sure that you fix the bottleneck itself, the thing that actually really is slow. Because if you guess, the best case scenario, if you guess, well, obviously the best case is that you actually get the bottleneck. The second best case is that you do nothing at all. You have no improvement. And the worst case is that you make everything worse altogether. You're going to have a go at playing Factorio following lean principles. I would imagine that it's really hard to do. But I mean, I guess maybe it might be easier to do. I feel like Factorio when you're playing, I guess maybe this is for me because I've only played a little bit of it myself. It's more like a lot of lean principles, especially in factory type stuff, are for complicated tasks. But all like software development and then like playing Factorio is all complex tasks because there's a lot of unknowns. But I guess like with Factorio, once you know it well enough, it becomes complicated because there's a lot less unknowns now. So I guess, yeah, if you know Factorio, I guess that's when we can do lean with those type of games. I do feel, however, like Factorio is probably an excellent way to sort of like teach theory of constraints. And like maybe one day I can do like a course where we like use video games to teach some of these type of like advanced what do I even call them? Advanced like productivity hacks, like theories. Could be a lot of fun. The other book, Custard, that you might enjoy with a question mark in there is a book called The Phoenix Project. And the enjoy part is going to be very okay, you read it? So I have to ask the question then. How many times did you scream at some of the characters? Because I listened to the audiobook and there were several points of time that I had to pause it and just vent hard at like the characters, because it's like it was too real. It was way too real for me. Trouble is that the leadership got on board with the final fixes. Yeah. So unrealistic. Yeah. So as a really basic non-spoiler review of the book, it's a novelization of a company that is trying to digitalize and like create a big project, and they have all the problems that you've ever seen of in any big company or even any company at all, and it's causing them to basically not deploy at all. And so it's showing that the entire company, or at least the department, switches over to be able to deploy at like really fast. And there's a lot of DevOps in the mix, or like teaching DevOps principles, teaching DevOps culture. And you're right, like it is absolutely unrealistic that the company, no, there was like a bunch of there are like a bunch of plot points about like various actors who are fighting against it and trying to stop it. But you're right, like having everybody else like sort of getting into it does feel so rare, like to the point where it's a rounding error to zero. I've tried to implement those type of things in companies I worked at, and the farthest I've gotten is implementing it for the entire engineering department before everything, like the company, imploded. And I actually realized a really difficult lesson, that you can't fix one department. You can't just make engineering really good and really fast. It won't fix anything at all. You have to fix the entire company. 9 out of 10 times is culture problems. I would even argue it's 99 out of 100 times. You're a software contractor and you tend to parachute into burning buildings. The companies that tend to think like that technology is a fix, but 9 out of 10, yeah, I agree. I like how they came to the conclusion that IT shouldn't be a separate department, which is, I mean, that's an entire another thing. I put up video not long ago about trying to like show a little bit into like the internal minds of a lot of business people. A lot of sort of like a lot of companies, the business side actually treats and considers IT to be a cost center, which is the worst possible take in modern day companies. Absolute worst possible take. But yet they keep on acting like it is, which is one of the reasons why companies like tend to implode and fail eventually. Okay, this deployed. Let's see if we now got proper highlighting. That's really cool. Ooh, that's really, really cool. So that's fun. What did I do? How did I manage to break it that much? I have no HTML in here. However, awesomeness is that we got the latest prism, so that worked. None of the SHA-384 hashes in the integrity attribute match the content of the sub resource. The computed hash is that. Interesting. Why would that fail? That's so weird. How would that fail? All I did was the cache thing. Okay, let me try. Let's see. So if I wanted to, let's try undoing what we did. I could either commit undo, or we could just undo. Well, we know what we did. I wonder if this is not going to fix it because the problem is in Prism. That would be really interesting. But this is saying none of the hashes were computed properly. Okay. Well, anyways, let's routing. Yep, most problems I see started in finance when somebody said, I want to do X and need Y money, so I have to make a whole bunch of promises before they knew any facts. I wouldn't run my car like they run software projects. I pay the finance and add fuel, and while the car is delivering more benefit than it costs, I'll keep it. Well, I mean, you're discussing basically that, like, we don't want to run complicated projects in the same way that we run complex projects, which is true, right? Like if we in complicated projects, we know exactly what's going to happen. We know when it's going to happen. We can track all that stuff. It's very predictable. And therefore we can predict how much it's going to cost because it's known. Everything is known. But in complex projects, that's like the opposite of true. Now, I don't have a revert system, unfortunately, so this has to be just like a new version that we put in. There's been a few times that I've been thinking about trying to figure out videos that I can do, maybe like short videos about like business, like showing off like, okay, here's how businesses run, here's how to do business, but for like the target audience is us developers. Like, okay, for, you know, buy it from a developer to a developer, but I've also got, you know, I've also been in management. I've also been in some like leadership positions. I know a lot of leaders that are like in the executive positions. I can speak the language with a really heavy accent. So I can like there's probably some things that would be interesting, like, hey, why does management sometimes not give priority to engineering but gives like a lot of priority to sales or marketing? Like why is that? Why do they do that? Don't they know that where the product is being created? And it's super funny to like think about it, where it's like consciously they kind of do, but also at the same time, not really. The number of C-level execs that I've met or like worked for in companies that don't know what the product is or how to use the product, or even like use the product at all, is astonishing. It's really shocking, and it's horrible. It's at that like that point when you're like at the all hands and the CEO is talking about the product, and you realize that they've probably never even logged into it to like play around with it, and they're trying to sell it. And all they know is like the feature deck, like the PowerPoint deck that your CTO gave them. All right, well, let's see if this deploy fixes our problem. Otherwise, it'll be actual debug time, and I'll need to figure out what's going on with this. I would guess that it's something about the Prism file. And I might be able to switch out to grabbing it from Prism CDN instead of just having the file local to me, which would be fine. I would be okay with that. But I think after this deploy, I'm probably going to bring the stream to a close. My throat's starting to feel the talking all day, and it has been 4.5 hours, so not the longest stream that I've done. Just to my point earlier about chunking resources into my project. Yeah, and I have it defined. I have it defined over in YCL, and I'm pulling it in from YCL into LMS. But it's something I was like pulling in through the HTML, which I could do as like a wrapper. No, because it's the problem. So this is the problem with single page applications. Is I could pull it in for each snippet, but that doesn't go on the top end. That doesn't work. I'm in Mountain Time Zone, so GMT -7, -6. We just switched to daylight savings time on Sunday, so it's different. We went back by an hour, so it used to be 3 p.m. or around 3 p.m. Now we're about to get to 2 p.m. Spring forward, fall back. Okay, right. We went forward. I even with the nice little nomenclature, I always get it wrong. I don't know why. Well, it's probably the dyslexia that helps me get it wrong. But it feels like I shouldn't get it wrong. Okay, you're in the UK. That means it's starting to get, it's pretty evening for you now, right? That's like 6 hours ahead of me. So like what, 8 p.m. or so? Yeah, I got good guess. Wait, did I say 6 p.m.? Okay, I was off by 2. Yeah, so the streams here, I'm working, I'm not having to work for anybody else. Oh, I did say 8? Nice. I guess like my brain is starting to get tired. So now I'm starting to forget exactly what I said literally immediately after I say it. I'm not having to work for anybody else on Monday through Wednesday, so that's why I'm able to do these longer streams. Thursday and Friday though, right now I'm working for I'm doing contract work for another company, which is fun. It's a lot of configuration stuff right now, which is, I mean, it's necessary for them to do it, but it's just one-off configuration stuff. So I'm just like a lot of click through and doing things, which is boring. You try to get a coding contract, but they want you to do architecture. Yeah. The problem is like there's not enough people that know architecture, so it happens. I could see that happening to me too. Is like just dropping into lead all the time because I have that management skill set, and like I've successfully created or helped create like 3 high performance teams in the past. So now it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna do that again. Yeah, especially if you know how to talk to people. It's like requirements. Be able to be sociable. But your passion is hammering the keyboard. It's shocking how few companies have good path tracks, like career ladders for non-management. Like oftentimes so many companies are like, what do you mean? Doesn't everybody want to become a manager like me? And so they're basically like, okay, well, you got to senior level developer, you got to architect. Now at this point, you're stuck. You're never gonna get a raise again. You're gonna do that. That sucks. That's stupid. You're not in any Twitch streams concerned with writing Jira tickets or Confluence documents. Yeah, I had considered doing Jira for this episode. Okay, so that didn't fix the problem, which makes me think that the problem really is the Prism thing. So if I look at our network, none of you had show a problem here. What's going on? Oh, I can't click you and don't show those. Just show the word. Will you show me the exact part of this? No. Well, okay, so it is in here, and the only change that I had made was for Prism. That's why you started the Let's See the Code, though, so you can hammer on the keyboard when your 9 to 5 doesn't let me. Yeah. It like that side projects, right? Like side projects are like, okay, sometimes we got to do it. If you're not getting it from your day job, you got to do it yourself. Okay. Here I have my script source, JS Prism, marked, bundle. Okay, so if I switch to Prism, can I get this from a CDN, or do I have to do? Why is it rendering like that? Like this stuff? Probably because I have dark mode on. Huh? Yeah, weird stuff with dark mode. Okay, let's try this where I like download your things. All right, so I'll wait, I can hash this. It's kind of stupid, but I'll just hash this manually. So download you to here. Let's take the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll take the first 7 or first 8. And we'll manually add the hash in for that, because that's a great idea, right? So you go over there and now okay, so I copy all of the JavaScript directory over, and then I have a script source Prism.js like this. Can you cache bus with query string params? I probably I would have to cache bust in here, right? To tell it to cache bust in the script source. I don't know if can I do that? I might be able to. Okay, so if I do that, and then the where's the Prism CSS? Okay, so then the CSS is over here. Yeah, and the thing is that I'm not actually seeing, this is download. Does Prism really, do they have I don't think they have a CDN. Oh, CloudFront? Yeah, I don't remember how I've set up CloudFront for that. I don't remember at all. It's been like a year. Usage with CDNs. In combination with CDNs, we recommend using the autoloader plugin. Oh, that's okay. So this is I think we tried this and it didn't work for some reason. Let's try deploying this, and then we can try the autoloader. Well, actually, we can try that right away locally, can't we? That would be really fast. So hold on. Let's CDNs. Okay, so CDN, we could use CDN.js for this. So I want themes, prism. So I want basically, okay, themes prism CSS. So dot CSS, themes. Okay, so the default one, I think, this one. Sure, we'll copy the link tag. Okay, so this pulls in the themes prism, min CSS. It also has all that stuff. Okay, that's good. And then I want prism JS here. So, okay, we need to find an autoloader. Components prism core. So I want to find prism core. And then we want prism autoloader. Oh yeah, sometimes it won't honor the query string. Yeah, I don't remember about that either. Okay, you don't have an autoloader. Oh, come on. There's no auto. Okay, so CDN.js doesn't have an autoloader. This is what we ran into. They didn't have an autoloader. They have auto linker. I bet the auto linker is right. Oh no, these are plugins. Oh no, plugins auto loader. Oh, okay. Plugins auto loader. Auto linker. Prism auto loader. There's a CSS to that too. They only want the JavaScript for it. This one. I don't think this is going to be right, but we're going to try it anyways. So if I rerun you, and I believe that's going to re-render all of you, and yeah, nothing works. Everything's broken locally. Cool. That's wonderful. It makes me wonder though if autolinker's CSS needs to be there. No, that didn't work. Yeah, so this doesn't have the autoloader. Okay, so CDN.js doesn't work. How about JS deliver? So themes. Oh, I can, okay, so I can add in themes, prism CSS. No, min CSS. All right, Custard, thanks for hanging out. And it was a great chat. Have a great rest of your day. and have a great night. And okay, so I wanted. And thank you for the 250 bits, Custard. Thank you for that. Okay, so you want themes prism CSS. So themes prism CSS. Components prism core. Components prism core. Plugins autoloader. What's the difference between this component? Oh, that's just a file, components.js. So plugins. Why is this? Okay, autoloader. Okay, so show all the links. So here's, okay, so here are the, is that one together? Okay, let's do the CSS one first. What did you give me? Okay, you just gave me that. So I want to do a link rel. I can't do integrity, can't do the cross origin. Well, I mean, I probably could, but I'm not going to worry about that. We're going to keep you there like that, and then you to go away. And we're going to do a script source. Now, you're both of them combined together, right? I wonder if we can actually do that. Oh, nope, that's not going to work. That's not how to do scripts. Okay, so if I do you, okay, then you're back up and working again. So this works. Let's go ahead and try deploying you out. And just to double check, you didn't like magically fix yourself. Okay, good. All right, so my plan is to deploy this out. We've been here for a while, and hopefully I should get it working, although I'm going to be continuing to work on this regardless until it's like back up and running. I don't know if it's necessary or like, oh, fit. Eugene, hydrate, and I ran out of all of my liquid. Which sort of like what I was thinking about doing is like ending the stream so I can go up and get a snack or get some like get some more water and something else while I'm deploying this. I know I ran out. I drank it all. So what I'm thinking about doing is ending the stream and then just sort of like taking my laptop upstairs and just going to work on it while also like eating a snack, drinking some, having some stuff. So I'm going to refund you for hydrate. And let's see, let's start the push. You'll rehydrate me next time? Awesome. Look forward to it. All right, I get to watch this go on up and to see whether or not it works. But we all know that this takes like 5-10 minutes. I don't know if we all want to sort of like hang out and watch, unless we want to hang out and watch to see if it actually works or not. But I'll probably end the stream right after that, depending upon how things go. So I guess in other news or questions, anybody have any questions about programming, management, companies, businesses, how they work? Because those are topics I always love chatting about. Leadership. You got a suggestion? What's the suggestion? Staff engineer book. This looks familiar. I don't think I do have it. Leadership Beyond the Management Track. I don't think I have read this one. At most technology companies, we reach senior software engineer, the career level for software engineers, in 5 to 8 years. At that career level, you'll no longer be required to work towards the next promotion, and being promoted beyond it is exceptional rather than expected. Should you stay there, move into engineering management, or continue down the path of technical excellence to become a staff engineer? What are the skills you need to develop to reach staff engineer? Are technical abilities alone sufficient to reach and succeed in that role? How do most folks reach this role? What is your manager's role? Okay, basically, what is it? How do you get there? Yeah, it's definitely a leadership role. Like I would definitely agree with that. But nice. Cool. Yeah, for me, I actually just went straight to leadership, to leadership roles, like management type things. Although obviously I still keep a foot in the I keep a foot solidly in the development side with the stream. Ironically, even though it's not like in management, I would guess that a staff engineer should probably not be developing very much on their own. I would imagine they do a lot of pair programming, they do a lot of one-on-ones, they do a lot of meetings, mostly to make sure that everyone else in the team levels up. Because a good staff engineer who knows what they're doing, they could 10x the entire organization, maybe more. Would I be open to coding collaboration and some project idea? Not right now, but I think that's mostly because I have a lot of these things that I want to work on my own. And I also don't have time to sort of like do a collaboration with somebody else right now. Maybe some other time. It might be like, especially if it's like a content type thing where it's like, okay, I can like do something and it'll like attract more people to the stream. Something like that I would be more into. So it's one of those things where it's like, probably not right now, but definitely, like, I shouldn't say definitely, like, not completely a no either. Does that make sense? It also depends upon how long the project is going to be, because if it's going to be like a really long project, that's going to be rough. And we all know all projects are longer than we think they're going to be. All right, so here's the thing. It's still broken. Now, the other thing that it could potentially be broken from is Sentry, since that it loaded the Sentry code up. I have, let's see, can I actually see Sentry? That's the wrong URL. Oh, it's sentry.io. Okay, so oh, interesting. So I got an error 8 minutes ago. Marked is not defined. Interesting. Marked is not defined. Oh, but I got it to a local host. I'm accidentally, yeah. Something else I need to do is I need to make sure that I'm not sending localhost stuff to Sentry. Only like things that are deployed out. Yeah, I tried to access something and marked didn't load properly locally, which is interesting. Imagine you are building a microservice and you wanted a logging for them. Would you use things like Sentry, Grafana, Prometheus per microservice, or have a global one? I have more recently come to appreciate a more global system, because oftentimes microservices aren't just isolated, but they're working with each other. So I want to be able to see logs for the thing that's passing into the microservice. And then if the microservice is like hard crashing, you then can see the microservice itself. But sometimes it's not hard crashing, it's just doing something wrong logically, and you want to see what it passes into the next thing or whatever. And if you could do like a global logging service for all of your microservices together, you can mark them and then sort of like search across all the logs for like each input or output that you're putting into it. So I'm really big on like a global one now, or at least that's what I think that it would set up if I had the money to set that up. Okay, so you ran, so theoretically I can rerun this, and you're still failing. Well, that's not cool. Which does make me a little bit concerned. Yeah, so it's not that browser of like completely failing all those other things. Why are you like now not working? None of these match the content of the sub resource. Yes, this is that exact problem. Wait, so this is just saying it's Firefox. Do I have what other browsers do I have? Do I have a oh, I have Arc, which is, let's see. No, that problem is happening in here too. That's not a Firefox only problem. Or at least mine isn't. Failed to find a valid digest in the integrity attribute for resource LMS with computed SHA-3. Okay. The resource has been blocked. Okay. With the one that turned into LMS, which is the JavaScript generated by trunk. I don't see any problems here. I could do a manual deploy with AWS and just like push the files into the system. What would my motivation be for using Yew instead of Next.js? Because I want to teach web development in Rust language, and like teaching in the same thing that I'm deploying, I think is really important for that. Also, I really like using Rust type stuff, and I want to see like how close it is to real life ready. Because I hear a lot of people talking about like both like, oh, just ignore it, it's not ready at all, or like, nope, it's fully production ready altogether. Lynn Calamitas, hello, how are you doing today? What are your thoughts on Yew? Do you like it, or do you use because there are options with Rust? Yes. So when I first started with it, its options are very, very limited. But I also like it because it's based upon React, which I think is a great sort of, it's a great entry point, like gateway drug for getting into Rust for web dev. Like, especially if you're coming from JavaScript web dev, like most developers, even if you're using something else like Next.js, like, you know, React. Like, everybody knows React now, or at least that's what it feels like. And so you can't go wrong by suggesting, hey, try React, try Yew. And then once they like Yew, they can say, okay, I'm going to now try something else. I'm going to now try Leptos or something like that. I have one final snooze. I'm going to use it. So we have all these debug things in here, but it makes me wonder if there's a problem with, okay, if we quit out of Yew, if I just do a trunk build, let's trunk build release. What is the most concerning? Is the job market for Leptos or Yew? I doubt someone is building their stack 100% in Rust. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. There is no job market. It's a rounding error for zero for any companies that are hiring for web development, front end web development in Rust right now. I think, though, if you're good at talking, you might be able to use something like knowledge in Rust for front end in order to be able to fast talk yourself into like, hey, I'm really good at programming. and therefore you can hire me for like development in general. Like I can do, you know, look, I learned how to do Rust in a front end. I can also do all this other stuff for you. Okay, so if I do that, oh, I always forget. What's one of those? Oh, I want something to like serve up a website, and I barely remember. I never remember what they were. It's like I also don't remember any for Rust. I know there's at least one, but like yeah, I haven't really used like light server at all. Do I want light or light? Is it like light server or light? I think it's this one. Okay, so you're running. Although that did open up Safari for some reason. Oh, so I want to go into localhost. Is that 3,000? 3,000. Yes, that works. And you're not having any problems opening up LMS with that. Okay. Yeah, I don't. What if I just need to redeploy, or like, did I somehow break something when I updated our deployment? No, because all I touched was the CloudFront cache busting thing. So now if we look at the problem here seems to be the JavaScript that's being set up to go in here, which I think is down. But yeah, I don't do this at all. I don't have to set this up at all. This is all. It's all my stuff. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I might have to take a break and come back to it. Luckily, everybody who's already taken a full course has already finished it. So I don't think I have to worry too much about people coming in. I just have to let the beta tester know that I broke it. Everything is broken. React, the gateway drug to get into Rust. I would take it. I guess Rust WebAssembly experience also translates into Blazor experience. I don't know. I've never used Blazor, so I couldn't intelligently speak to that. What you realize is your best bet for Rust is Rust for backend development, but front end, it's grim. Yeah, definitely. Yew.rs. That name sounds familiar. I haven't been reading anything from Medium though recently. But nice. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and bring the stream down because I am getting, my brain is definitely not working right now. I need to take a break, and then I will continue on and fixing and like trying to figure out what's going on with this. If we can't figure it out, then tomorrow's game stream will turn into more debugging this and figuring this out instead of playing a game. So that'll be fun. If, however, I do get it figured out, tomorrow we're playing, the plan is to play more Shenzhen IO, which will be the third stream on it, which is a lot of fun. So with that, everybody, I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And if I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you whenever the next time is. And with that, have a good one. Bye.